Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. This presentation is actually a result of a webinar that was held in collaboration between Stay Calm University Indonesia, Final University Cyprus, and Seacoast University Pakistan. In this presentation, I am going to talk about IT related careers in 2021 and beyond, and our strategies being educationalists and students. I will start this presentation with a short overview about the impact of the pandemic that we have on our life. After that, I will talk about the emerging careers, which is going to be on the top in 2021. And finally, I will talk about our strategies, what we can do to meet the challenges or the requirements of the IT careers. Let us start with the COVID impact. The year 2020, as we know, was dominated by the pandemic, which leads to many sad news. Among them is poverty, unemployment among us, among youth, uh, and also millions of people lost their life. But on the positive side, throughout the pandemic, we learned a different way to think about our. It has also shown us the importance of technologies in 2021 and after 2021. Most companies will employ the remote work from other words. Some universities, colleges, and even schools, they have adopted work from home model, or at least they are following the hybrid learning model, anywhere plus on campus, in which more people will work outside the universities, colleges most of the time. This area has seen a rapid growth during the pandemic, and it will likely continue growing in 2020 as well. Zoom, for example, emerges from a startup in 2011 and then going to the public in 2019, and now it become a household name during the pandemic. Besides Zoom, we have other technologies for video conferencing and online meeting like Microsoft Teams, Google Hangout, Google Meet, GoToMeeting, etc. State of the art technology conferencing. And they actually facilitate remote work access across the globe. And we will see new technologies are emerging in the remote working sector. For example, startup like Bluescape, Overleaf, uh, Figma, and Slave, etc. They all have provided visual collaboration platform which enable teams create and share contents, interact with one another virtually, track projects, train their employee, and run virtual team building activities, and much more. So work from home maybe is going to be our future in the near future. Let us move to some careers that are going to dominate the IT world in 2021 and beyond. Some of the predicted careers in the field of IT are going to be the focus of this presentation. It is important to mention that it's not possible to predict all the possibilities in the field of IT because of the rapid changes in this field that are occurring at a rapid speed. However, some of the areas that I believe are going to dominate our IT world are the focus of this presentation. Among this category, the first one is data science. Data science is actually the use of scientific methods, processes, algorithms, and systems to extract knowledge and insights, any structural and unstructured data. So, data science is related with data mining, machine learning, artificial intelligence, deep learning, and big data as well. The question is, who is generating this big data? We human beings, machines, gadgets, electronic devices, smartphones, and organizations. They are the generator of big data. And the amount of data that we are generating per second is massive. And there is the need to make sense out of this data, to make this data useful so that different decisions can be made over this data. How to collect this big data, how to process this big data, how to store this big data, how to analyze this big data, and how to make this big data useful for making certain types of decisions. These are the challenges of the coming years. And many jobs are going to be offered in this area. For example, some of the jobs are related with the data science. Data scientists would be required, data analyst, data engineers, data science specialist, etc. These are the jobs which we pretend be the dominant, which I believe that they are going to dominate our IT world. Data scientists um, need to know skills and knowledge such as understanding of machine learning algorithms, creation of data models, and the ability to pick out business issues and suggest suitable solutions. It's the responsibility of the data scientist to compile, process, analyze, and present data for an organization in order for it to make more informed. On the other hand, the data analyst actually, analysis we know is a process of inspecting, cleansing, transforming, and modeling data with the goal of discovering useful information uh, which leads to conclusion and which leads to important decisions. All these are the roles which need to be performed by a data analyst. I was going through a job report which was published in 2020 by the World Economic Forum about future of jobs, and it was written there that data analyst and scientist is going to be the top job roles that are increasing in demand across all industries. As businesses and organizations collect and use more and more data every day, the demand for skilled experts has increased. And tools like Hadoop, MapReduce, etc., they are going to be on the top to deal with big data and in order to make big data. On the other side, AI is undoubtedly one of the biggest tech trend at the moment. And during 2021 and beyond 2021, it will become an even more valuable tool for helping us to interpret and understand the world around us. The machines, they are not going to replace the human, but they are going to assist the human in many things. As the volume of data we are collecting on daily basis is growing continuously, this means that machine learning algorithm will become better informed and increasingly sophisticated in the solutions they uncover for us. In the field of AI, the jobs that are going to dominate the IT world are AI engineer, and it is one of the recent top 15 emerging jobs in the US. AI engineer will actually develop, manage, and oversee all AI initiatives within an organization. But it will require the engineer to learn about solid programming skills in languages like Python, like R, and like Torch, etc. On the other hand, we will need machine learning engineers. This specific branch of AI is ideal for those who have a passion for computer science, software engineering, and a desire in a career in a fast moving and exciting industry. Machine learning engineers will use big data to create complex algorithms to ultimately program a machine, such as a self driving car or a digital voice assistant, as the Google, in order to perform and carry out tasks like a human being. To be a successful machine learning engineer, knowledgeable background in AI technologies and languages is a must. Similarly, robotics is a hot area. In recent years, we have seen the emergence of robots in the care and assisted living sector. And we have seen robots in hotels, restaurants. They are on the trial basis, but they are there. On the other side, a robotic engineer will have to deal with such. Similarly, flying robots, drones, will be used to deliver vital medicines, and they will be equipped with computer vision algorithms, which will be used to monitor public areas in order to identify places, for example, where the increased risk of viral transmission is there. We will see major progress in autonomous drones, which are going to learn about our environment and identify areas which are at high risk, for example. On the other side, autonomous driving is another area where AI can play a big role. Transportation is a sector which is also a dominant area where AI can play a big and major role. Automobile industries, for example, Honda, they have recently announced that it will produce autonomous vehicle which under certain condition will not require any driver. Google driverless car is another example. Tesla autopilot, currently they not only offer lane centering and automatic lane changes mechanism, but also they have announced that from this year they will be able to recognize speed signs and will detect green light signal. Ford, on the other hand, joining the race of automobile automation, uh, anticipating an autonomous driving car riding ride sharing service. And we saw buses on the roads, although they are on the trial basis, but they are their autonomous buses, not require a driver to ride. And they are actually, we are using them for ride sharing purposes as well. Other automobile makers, for example, Mercedes Benz, they are also trying to integrate some degree of autonomous driving in their new models from 20. This is all happening in the field of AI. Similarly, augmented reality, virtual reality, and mixed realities are on the boom. And augmented reality and virtual reality have grown significantly in 20. These fast growing technologies are now part of our everyday life, from entertainment up to business. These technologies uses glasses or headsets to project computer generated imagery directly into the user field of vision. For example, the augmented reality, it aids digital elements to a live view, often by using the camera or a smartphone. For example, you all are familiar with the Snapchat lenses and the game which become very much famous, a Pokemon Go. These were based on AR technologies, by the way. An AR tool allows the customer to browse the range of glasses, for example, on offer and see what they look like. You can um, you can try different dresses by using the AR technology. On the other side, the VR virtual reality is actually the use of computer technology to create a simulated environment. Unlike the traditional user interfaces, VR places the user inside an experience. Instead of viewing a screen in front of them, users are immersed and able to interact with the. There is something amazing. The user is placed into an entirely computer generated environment. And the role of VR is very much in medical examination and diagnosis, for example. On the other side, we have now mixed reality also on the boom, and it is actually the merging of the real and virtual worlds to produce new environment and the role of software engineers cannot be eliminated from the list. Even in 2021 and beyond 2021, software developers and managers they are going to dominate the society, the IT world. Companies are seeking developers of all types to create new applications, a new software services to support the business and in turn provide a competitive advantage. Python developers, for example, are on the boom. Software development managers, backend developer, front-end developer, data warehouse developer are all on high demand. Beside from these traditional paths, we have a new generation of more strategic minded developers, and that is emerging. And it includes not only the backend developers who can build the heavier tech, but also the front end developers, which include a new era that is known as UX designer, a user experience designer. And they are concerned with the behind the scene design of ensuring software, websites, or application meet the consumer habits, motivations, behaviors, and needs. With more and more business tuning to digital platform to promote and sell their products or services, it's never been so important to ensure the user journey and experience is the best it can be. So a user experience designer is on the boom in the IT. On the other side, we have DevOps engineer, Dev for development and Ops for operation. And why not to have an engineer who can do both the things? It could refer to someone on the development team taking part in the deployment in network operations, or to someone from the operations team working on application development. And it increases an organization ability to deliver applications and services at a high velocity. So DevOps engineers are working with software productions, keeping a close eye on the code releases to look for areas of inefficiency in the software. Similarly, a full stack developer is also on the top of the list. And on daily basis, I can see that the trend is moving from front and back end design to the user experience design as well as full stack developer engineers or designer or developer. And today there are over 23 million developers globally which whose are related with the full stack development. And it is expected that by year 2023 it would reach to 28 million. And definitely it is going to be one of the highest paying tech job in the industry. It is difficult to pin down a definition for a full stack developer, what it is, what are the responsibility of a full stack developer. But the closest description is that someone who is uh, well trained in both front end and back end development, or someone with skills in every stage of development, from a concept to the end product. You need expertise at every stage of the software development cycle. And some of the skills that are required for a full stack developer are like databases like Express.js, Angular, and Node.js, which is important, and something related with the cloud computing platform as well. Another career is about cybersecurity. Security is something which cannot be forgotten. It's everywhere. Security, privacy, and now a third component is added, which is trust. And there is no question that cybersecurity is currently a top priority among CEOs and business leaders. Every CEO wants the data to be protected, the communication to be end to end encrypted, and things like that. Why? Because the rise in cybercrime is prompting a sharp increase in security. And that is the reason that businesses are spending a huge amount of money to protect themselves by taking on talented professionals. In addition, many security issues have arisen from our new a blended way of working. Working from home, remote working, issues like behavior of the user, technical issues arising from people working from the home using their personal devices or even using company hardware while battling against an unprecedented volume. Okay? So cybersecurity will account for many of the fastest growing jobs for tech professional in 2021, and it will include cloud security, communication security, operational security, governance, risk and compliances, identity and privileged access management, architecture security, and things like that. It's a huge field, but it cannot be ignored and cannot be removed from the list. Similarly, cloud. Over the last few months, cloud computing has become a must have for, especially if you are working remotely, then the role of cloud computing is at the top. Organizations across all industries have been widely migrated to cloud solution in year 2020 because they were following home from work model. We can therefore expect that cloud engineers is among the top tech job in, and to be a cloud engineer you must have to know the knowledge about cloud services or the companies they actually offer the services like AWS, uh, Microsoft Azure, Amazon, etc. But the most two dominant cloud providers are AWS, Amazon, and Microsoft Azure. As if I'm not wrong, about 80% of the market they are actually using the services from either Microsoft Azure or from Amazon Web Services. So you need to know about a general knowledge of AWS as well as Google Cloud Platform if you want to be a successful cloud engineer and if you want to achieve a better job in 2020. Similarly, Internet of Things is another area. One of the most in demand and highest paying job in today's industry. And the person is going to be the IoT architect or IoT engineer or things like that. So the IoT solution, if the person is an architect, IoT architect, so he has the leadership quality, the leadership role of overseeing the strategies behind the development and deployment of IoT solution. Everything is going to be connected with the internet from our home door to the security of our cars and our entrance into our offices. Everything is going to be controlled and connected to the internet and by the internet. So, in addition to understanding the IoT solutions, one should also have a strong programming skills, an understanding of AI concept, machine learning, and also knowledge of hardware design and architecture. And if you want to jump into this area, you must have to play with the Arduino and also Raspberry Pi devices as well, because they are going to help you in order to build some IoT related projects. Lastly, intelligent transportation system, and it is a component of smart city. And smart city is a concept of the future. In coming years, we will see some smart cities throughout the world and also some smart transportations. As I just mentioned that automobile manufacturers, they are spending a huge amount of money on different R&D products in order to make their vehicles smart enough, driverless, and with to build their vehicles with communication capabilities and technologies. So it is an important component of smart cities, and different countries throughout the world they have initiated different projects to deal with the transportation issues. The main objective is to make our transportation more safer and enjoyable. So this is an area which will attract more attention in the coming years. These were some of the areas, not all of them, which I believe are going to be the dominated area in the field, in the world of IT in the coming year. Now, what should be our strategies to meet the challenges of IT world in the coming years? The first thing that I would like to talk about is a learning strategy, a different learning environment. Let me recap that these strategies are for educators, mostly for university professionals, teachers, lecturers, professors, and for the students who actually want a career in the field of IT. So the first thing is a hybrid learning strategy. COVID-19 has changed our way of teaching and learning, and we are shifted to online education models. And during this pandemic, more than 190 countries were forced or enforced to close their educational institution and find alternative solutions. And there is a majority there. It was observed that majority of the universities, they actually turned their classes to online platforms. Just to mention one name, Google Classroom, Zoom is another, Google Meet another, Coursera. Similarly, course sites or blackboards, different technologies, LMS, Moodles, etc. Different universities adopt different technologies to continue the learning process. A hybrid learning strategy means that some of the activities would be on campus while rest of the thing would happen online. For example, the teaching is online but exam is on campus. There is a hybrid learning strategy. Or some of the lectures are delivered online while other are delivered on the campus. There is a hybrid learning strategy. This emerging model will require on access to digital tools. Let's suppose you are taking a subject which require high mathematical modeling or equations, suppose integrations, and you are trying to explain them to the student. So it is difficult to write with the mouse. The digital tool available to facilitate such subject is to use a drawing page, which will facilitate the process of learning and teaching. So there are systems that can adapt to change, and also a hybrid learning environment or strategy is feasible for such type of things. And also, I would like to mention that the recorded video is not the ultimate solution for distance or virtual learning. They aren't learning. Students complain that they are not learning anything by just sitting there and listening to a lecture online, a recorded lecture. Students need to interact with the content the way they do in a classroom when they are face to face with their teacher. In addition to providing educators with the skills to teach in remote setting, universities would need to equip students with the right digital to help them learn most effectively. Okay, so we need clear cut policies, and we need to think whether we are ready for this new era of learning and teaching or not. And for that to happen, university might best start by engaging with the students. What are their needs? What are their problems? And with the teachers, even with their families and the community to understand which technologies will best facilitate the learning and teaching process. I will mention just one example. Uh, Fondo Tutor is an interactive community, a community for interactive classes. Okay? You can teach any subject online, or the student can enroll themselves in any subject online. You don't need to take job of a tutor at some institute or at college or school or university. Every teacher here is also an entrepreneur in a sense. Okay? And there are plenty of other platforms available where you can actually become teacher or a student without enrolling into any specific educational institution. Another thing that we need to do is to rethink about our curriculum. University need to involve experts like subject specialists and industrialists, industry partners, to design the course contents. They need to keep in view the actual demand and trends of the market in order to develop their curriculum. Most of our course content are outdated. Even most of our subjects are outdated in the field of IT. So we need to rethink about our curriculum, and we need to onboard to keep on board subject experts, um, industry partners in order to develop our curriculum or revise our curriculum. From teaching to learning, this need to be a strategic plan, a shift from teaching to learning. As technology has created change, a change in all aspects of society, it is also changing our expectation of what student must learn in order to function in the new world economy. Student will have to learn to navigate through large amount of information, to analyze and make decisions, and to master new knowledge domains in an increasingly technological society. Being a teacher, we always need to keep ourselves up to date. We also need to shift our teaching methodology from teacher centric approach to learner centric or centered approach, where students are going to be the dominant factor, not the faculty who is actually reading the slides or delivering a lecture in a passive way, one direction flow of information. That is not acceptable in the world of IT anymore. A successful teacher knows how important it is to stay updated with the latest news, educational advancement, technology enhancement, and so on. And sharing this information with your students help you to keep them updated too. In turn, this add value to the learning experience. So we are shifting from teaching to learning. You have to learn. You are a teacher, you have to learn new concepts as well so that your student can learn effectively as well. Sharing new knowledge also pushes students to research environment and learn more about things that happen beyond the theoretical concepts. Okay, so it was famously said that publish or perish, but now I would say that learn or live. If you are an academician, an educationalist, if you are affiliated with, especially with the university, then you have to learn. Otherwise, you have to leave. Another strategy for us is to believe in our potential. Whether we are a student or we are a teacher, a faculty member, uh, we have to believe in our own strength. Fear is our biggest enemy. We have to control it. A teacher's success always began with the success of their students. Always we have to keep high expectations from our students. We have to believe in their potential to succeed and make sure that we are pushing them toward their goals beyond their limits. Even when they fail, we need to motivate them to try again. Failure is not the end, it is just the beginning. So we need to push them up. And this strategy will help you to pull them out of their comfort zones so that they can pursue a success in their life. And for that, you have to set goals with your students. Goals that you need to meet every week, goals that you need to meet at the end of the semester and at the end of the degree. As I just mentioned, a teacher's success is mostly determined by the success of their students. Therefore, you need to set goals and objectives with your students, and after that, work with them towards achieving these goals. Okay? Another very important thing is to develop courses in such a way that reflect the need of the society. Coming era is not about having degrees, it's about having skills. And I predict that in the near future, Maybe we will not need any physical classes, physical education, on campus education, things like that. Even there will be no need for a student to come to university anymore. You can learn the courses, you can learn the skills online. Coming future is about skills and it's not about the piece of. If you need any skill, companies will welcome you. If you learn any skill, if you know any skill, the companies will welcome. So you need to master at least one skill, and that skill is going to build your career. Okay? Incubation center in the university or at the government level, they are important. Incubation is a unique and highly flexible combination of business development process, infrastructure, and people, and they are designed uh, to help to grow new and small businesses by supporting them and by training them. Actually, a business incubator is a workplace that is created to offer startups and new ventures facilities under one roof. Incubation centers actually offer, or actually they provide a platform for the students where they can learn and implement and turn their ideas into final products. Most incubators are created as temporary launching pads for a new business, but with the expectation that participant will eventually graduate and move out. But that is not important that all the enrolled graduates are going to be successful. Unfortunately, some decide their business concept and they wasn't valuable and they shut down instead. But there are some stories. Actually, these unsuccessful story leads to more successful stories. But this is an area on which we need to work out. Incubation center and in a similar way, software houses are important. Every university must have a software house as well, or a contract with a software house where the student can learn about new skills, new ideas, and products as well. Entrepreneurship. We have to change our ideas into products, not looking after jobs. Instead of searching for a job, why not to offer jobs to others? In near future, I mean like 5 to 10 years, most of the jobs will not be there and most of the people will become entrepreneurs. Uber's driver, for example, Kareem drivers, for example, you cannot say that they are doing job for Uber or for Kareem. Similarly, a person who is selling product on Amazon or Snapdeal, etc., you cannot say these seller are employee of these platforms. No. In a similar way, freelancer working on IT, accounting, finance, on website like Flickr, Upwork, etc., these freelancer will not be treated as employee of any company. Okay? They are actually entrepreneurs. So entrepreneurship is going to be the future. But how to become an entrepreneur? With a startup. A startup is actually a young company founded by one or more entrepreneurs, and they will develop a new product or they will offer a new service and will bring it to the market, maybe to the local market or to the global market. A startup company or project which is undertaken by an entrepreneur, they actually seek to develop and validate a model and then convert that model into workable product or a service. At the beginning, startup face very high uncertainty because you are playing with an idea, you are trying to convert it into a workable product. So uncertainties, fear, and risk of failure are there, high rates of failure. But a minority of them do go on the other side. They become successful, and some of the startup they actually turned into large companies. But you have to face challenges, and we need to prepare our students for to meet those challenges and accept those challenges, and then success will be waiting for them. Finally, what's important uh, in our strategic plan to deal with the IT world in 2021 and beyond is to have some linkages. And mostly, we need to send our final year students to the industry for internship, for trainings, for learning, maybe to software house if they are IT related students. And then we have to impose the restrictions that they have to write a project, they have to develop a project, and they have to write a report on their project. The internship could be a paid one or unpaid one, but we need a linkage with the industry in order to send our students there. Also, there is a need for cultural exchange program, both for the faculty member and for cultural exchange doesn't mean sending a student or faculty member to other country. It could be to another state or even another city or even another university within the same city. Okay, so cultural exchange programs are important for both faculties and students. And also, it is recommended for the student as well as for the faculty member to enroll themselves in different clubs and societies which are there, learning societies, which have professionals as well as learner or beginner students or faculty members. And you can also make your own interest groups and discuss about your ideas and what's going on in the market, what are going to be the solutions, what is going to be the future of IT and things like that. So that is also important. Linkages with the industry and also having a community where you can actually discuss your ideas and proper solution. So I believe if we follow these strategies, we would be ready for the demand of the IT world in 2021 and beyond. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you are not subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe and share this video with your colleagues and friends. Thank you so much. Goodbye.